You cannot have a better start to your career than Kirby Smart at Georgia. That's what Dari Nauka of the SEC Network, he does a lot of SEC Network pregame, halftime, weekly shows. That's what he said about Kirby Smart, that you can't have a better start to your career than what Kirby Smart has done at Georgia. Not a super hot take because, I mean, if you just look through the history of coaches and how they started their coaching careers as a head coach, yeah, I mean, Kirby Smart has had one of the most impressive beginnings to a career. We're about 7 years into this thing now with him being the head coach at Georgia. Year one being in 2016. The first year was the worst year, right? Where, they don't go on to a New Year's Six Bowl. And then ever since then, Georgia's been competing for a New Year's Six Bowl every single year. They've been competing for national championships since year two, right? For Kirby Smart. I mean, think about that. In year two, Kirby Smart and Georgia go to the playoff. First, win the SEC championship, right? In year two. Then go to the playoff. Then win the Rose Bowl. And then just barely lose to Alabama in overtime in the national championship. That was year two for Kirby Smart and Georgia. That's without him being able to create his own entire roster. That's a lot of returning players. Now, let's not act like those returning players weren't, great, right? A.K.a. Sony Michel, A.k.a. Nick Chubb, A.k.a. Lorenzo Carter, guys like that. Miniature prayer out to Nick Chubb. Gruesome injury the other day. Not what this is about, but, man, that was a tough watch, watching Nick Chubb. But, look, I've got some numbers, and they're a comparison between the first 98 games, because Kirby Smart this week against UAB, I believe that is his 100th game as head coach. His overall record is 84-15 in 99 games, and there's a comparison between. I took an image of this the other day, and I'm going to read this off to you. But real quick, Ryan Curley from Dog Post here, talking about Kirby Smart in the beginning of his career. Is it the greatest start to a career ever? Can you have a better start to a head coaching career than Kirby Smart? There's some guys that have had some pretty hot starts, but that's what Dari Nauka said. If you're just now tuning in, newsletter down below. Free insider newsletter in your inbox every single day. All you got to do is sign up with the link down below, and you get those free and insider stories every single day in your inbox. That's all I got to say. It's free. So in the first 98 games of their careers, Kirby Smart, 83-15. Nick Saban, 83-15. SEC record, Kirby Smart. So that was even. SEC record, Kirby Smart, 50-12. Nick Saban, 49-11. Advantaged Kirby Smart by 1 game. SEC championships, 2-2, even. National titles, 3-2. So in their first 98 games, the numbers are almost identical between Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, right? Nick Saban being look, I consider him to be the greatest college football head coach of all time. I think, if he's not your 1, he's probably your 2 or your 3. I don't know if he's falling out of your top 2 or 3. I don't know if you know anything about college football, all right? Let's just be real. Kirby Smart. So overtime shy from, tying the national championship part with Nick Saban. And obviously that was against Nick Saban. That was not one of Nick Saban's first 3 titles. I believe that would have been his, I don't remember. I believe that would have been his 5th at Alabama, if I'm not, his 4th or 5th at Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. And look, just go through it. Let's just take out the first year. What has Kirby and Georgia done? Okay, year 2, Rose Bowl, national championship appearance, SEC championship. That's a great year. Year 2018, SEC championship appearance, right? So a division title, Sugar Bowl loss. So 2018, didn't end too hot, but you knew that Georgia was heading into the right direction because of how fast Kirby was able to just get things going the way he wanted them to, the way he knew that Georgia could be. 2019, lose the SEC championship, right, to LSU, win the Sugar Bowl over Baylor. So another New Year's Six Bowl win. Those are a big deal, right? I think people are going to forget now that Georgia started winning national championships. People are going to forget the importance that these bowl games have or used to have, or maybe it depends on who you ask how important they are. But winning a Sugar Bowl is a big deal, right? 2020, win the Peach Bowl. Florida beats you in the division, right? They're the ones that go on to lose to Alabama in the SEC championship. Alabama goes on to win the national title that year. But you win a Sugar Bowl, or you win the Peach Bowl. So you win 2 New Year's Six games in a row. Strange game. Desmond Ridder versus JT Daniels in the Peach Bowl at Georgia, right? In Mercedes-Benz Stadium. How about that? 2021. You know the story? They win the Rose Bowl, or they win the Orange Bowl. They lose the SEC championship to Nick Saban in Alabama. Bryce Young had the best SEC championship game ever, right? I mean, it was ridiculous. Stetson had himself quite a show in this most recent one, but Bryce Young and Alabama, hats off to what they did against Georgia that day. Georgia goes on to win the Orange Bowl and the national championship. Next year, they go on to win the SEC championship, the Peach Bowl, and the national championship. This is what Kirby Smart has done, right? How many of those postseasons were a bad deal? 2018, where you lose the SEC championship and then lose the, I'm blanking on which bowl, lose the Sugar Bowl to Texas, right? Is that the only bad deal so far? Losing the national championship, obviously no bueno, right? Obviously you don't want to lose the national championship, but at that point in their careers, you're just coming off that Rose Bowl win, and how emotional, how iconic that game is. That's going to, that will remain one of the most important and exciting games in Georgia history and college football history, right? It was a phenomenal one. And, you can't look, I haven't even spoken about the recruiting, all of the big time number one classes and all these 5 stars they brought in, and, how many top 5 classes. They've been in top 5 or 6 every single year Kirby has been around, right? So they're recruiting at an elite level. And that, look, it starts with Kirby, and then it's an extension of Kirby with the signings he has on his staff, right? Those matter. He's done a great job hiring assistants. Todd Monken is his best hire. Let's just be real. That was his home run hire, right? We'll look back at this thing probably and talk about how important of a hire Glenn Schumann was in the early days, and he's been with Kirby for a while now. We'll talk about how, good of a hire obviously Dan Lanning was, right? Now the Oregon head coach and a great defensive coordinator, but Todd Monken changed Georgia's offense, right? There's people complaining about him being gone already. I'm going to wait before I really, really think that that's an issue. But yeah, Todd Monken, that was an excellent hire. And then the draft picks. In 2 years, they had 25 first rounders, or 25 draft picks, and 8 first rounders. In a 2-year span, 8 first rounders, 25 draft picks. Back-to-back national championships doesn't happen, and look, they're contending for another one, right? Is anyone going to be surprised if it's Georgia in the end? I won't be surprised. All right, I still think that they have a real shot at this thing. I think that, no matter what's happened this year so far, I still think that they're the best team in college football, if not one of the 2 or 3 best, right? That's still what Georgia is. And it has been a great start to a coaching career. You look at some other coaches, you think about Steve Kerr and winning all those NBA championships. I'm trying to think of some other really good beginnings to coaching careers. I mean, his stacks up right there with Nick Saban, but how many people have just right out the gate were elite, were what they set out to be? As many times as Kirby Smart frustrates me, because as far as the work relationship there is there between him and the media, and I don't have anything personal against Kirby Smart. I really don't. And I think he's an incredible football coach, and he's been a good leader of young men. And yeah, so Darin Alka, what he said, it's hard to disagree with. It's up there, right? Kirby Smart has one of the best beginnings to a coaching career, and we'll see, can he win his 100th game against UAB and make it 85-15 to start? That would be an 85% win percentage in your first 100 games. It doesn't get much better than that, guys. It does not get much better than that. Kirby Smart, greatest start to a coaching career ever? Let me know. Link is down below for the newsletter. Comment section is down below for if you have anything you want to say. Thanks for watching.